I try to come up with a reason why I thought the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films were so good, and I know we had a little bit of an argument before you and me were talking about. I thought that Spider-Man, the last one was
No Way
okay.
Home.
Yeah, was okay. I thought it was all right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fine. But the Sam Raimi films I just think are so far superior. And there's one thing I think that we're missing, and I talked about how there's really no excitement that's built around these films anymore. Whereas before, I mean, even with like a sort of like throwaway film like Ghost Rider, you'd walk into the comic book store and they'd have all the Ghost Rider comics set up. And oh, have you reread all this guy's run of Ghost Rider? Have you reread Spirits of Vengeance to get ready? Because I hear
Mhm.
that this villain's going to be in the new Ghost Rider, so read up on him. And
Yeah.
people just don't do that anymore. You walk in the comic book store and you're like, you watch the new Moon Knight show? No, I haven't gotten around to it. It's just there's no excitement and fanfare and like pageantry around it like there used to be. And I think it's
Yeah.
because when you're Sam Raimi, it would never have entered anybody's heads that, oh, they're going to do 10 million more iterations of Spider-Man, or with Batman, there's just going to be 3 different versions of him going at the same time. That would never occur to anybody. What Sam Raimi was thinking when he set out to make Spider-Man was, I need to synthesize the entire 60-year history of Spider-Man into its distilled essence and come out with what is the most what film is most like Spider-Man? What is the distillation of this idea of Spider-Man? And I'm going
Yeah.
to make the definitive Spider-Man story. What does that look like? Whereas now it's like, oh, I'm doing a different take. Oh, I know this is my take, my interpretation, which is something that used to be sort of, I mean, even rare in comic books to
Interesting.
have something like The Dark Knight Returns, like a special take on Batman that was out of canon.
Right.
And now it's just
Right.
that's everything, you know.
Well, that's why and we'll get into this, but like the Elseworlds banner that they've introduced, that's how like the Matt Reeves Batman can exist with this new Batman they're working on. And I think Matt Reeves Batman is it's kind of like the Joker in the sense that the Joker was like an offshoot, was never meant to connect to anything or never meant to build on anything. But of course now they're
Right.
making Joker Part 2. But I liked the Batman because of that, the nature of it. Like it wasn't trying to be the quintessential Batman. It was just trying to
Right.
be its own different take. Whereas maybe Snyder was trying to do a more quintessential uh, take on the Batman and boil down to, like you said, like the essence of the character. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I partially agree with you. I do think that Spider-Man No Way Home was a big nostalgia fest, but at the same time, I think they used the nostalgia and those old characters and those old actors to do something that actually emotionally hit a chord with a lot of people, which was use like almost it's a Wonderful Life type scenario to propel um, Tom Holland's Spider-Man into um, being the
Mm.
quintessential Spider-Man that we all recognize. And that's a recurring theme that is kind of a trend with all these movies now, is that the first film is never meant to just set up the hero as perfectly as we recognize him. Like they took 3 films to introduce Henry Cavill's Superman as the quintessential Superman we all know and love. They kind of took the same approach with Spider-Man, making him a kid and just him being, goofy and never taking anything serious. And now, No Way Home, he's finally kind of grown into that. Like I told Kate when we walked out of the theater, is like, for the first time since Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I saw the essence of who Peter Parker is in Tom Holland. And that's why that
Mm.
movie resonated with me so much. Because I actually agree with you. I do love No Way Home a lot, but in hindsight, Raimi's films are unparalleled, like way better portrayals of Spider-Man.
They're and you know what? I mean, they're more like movies, and I don't wanna be I mean, this criticism has been leveled multiple times at Marvel, but they don't feel like an episode of a larger thing. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
real. Spider-Man had no real spot in that Civil War movie, but it just happened that all the contracts
It
got
was,
signed,
yeah,
so they were like, "Let's get him in there, throw him in." So it didn't really make sense
right.
to introduce the Spider-Man character at that time, and because of
It
that,
didn't
there's
add to
not
anything thematically, and yeah.
no. I mean, it was just like,
A lot of
here's
those
Spider-Man too, here he is,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
a lot of the Marvel films nowadays, I mean, the Ant-Man, I don't know if you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it's even more apparent in that. They literally have the directors just like, "Oh, do whatever you want," and then the next director that has the character next has to just roll with that, and it's like some people
yeah.
think, "Oh, that's a really great creative exercise." Some people, it's like, "That's kinda stupid," because I think Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Quantumania, like, suffers from that because they have to they have to address like, oh, the blip happened, and now everybody's like doing all these great successful things, and like now we have to build a plot around nothing because we've already had like these characters grow and develop in a movie that's not Ant-Man 3. So it almost feels like they have to, it's supposed to be like a trilogy ender, but it feels like they're trying to do something new instead. So it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, this is the end of the Ant-Man trilogy and we've come full circle
No.
with the characters. And at the end, you're like, no, you just had me come in to watch Ant-Man be Ant-Man in the quantum realm, which resulted in mostly nothing.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I
Like,
saw in the Ant-Man trailer that turned me off, and also was something that I didn't that stuck in my craw with Spider-Man, and maybe this is in other Marvel movies, but it just keeps to see it seems like more and more, um, the adventure starts because the hero, like, just screws up and does something stupid. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like, Spider-Man, like, asking him to do, like, a dumb spell that, like, broke the world or whatever. Or like
mhm,
Ant-Man, "Oh, we built this machine and oh no, don't go into it. Oh, we went into it." You know, it's not like the villain is coming and
yeah,
imposing his will upon the world that exists. It's like the
yeah,
hero does something dumb and like causes a big problem for himself.
mhm.
I don't that just seems like lazy to me.
Yeah,
It
no,
seems like
I
low
feel this.
stakes.
I feel the same way. I don't know, like just to briefly comment on the whole state of Marvel right now, I really do think that after seeing Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be the last probably really good Ant-Man Marvel movie until maybe they get, maybe if they wow us again with Secret Wars and what, Kang Dynasty, I forget what they're called now.
Uh, well,
But
I have 2 questions for I just wanted to comment and say I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 looks really good, and I'll see it. Um,
yeah, absolutely.